We gonna get there. We gonna get there. Man, rich but I live like a man. No stress, no fear, I don't even care. I like that song. What's good, my people? I think this seems awfully high. Why won't it turn down? Alright, I guess that's it. We just gonna have to make it do what it do. I think we gotta turn up the light. There we go. There we are. There he is. I love it. I'm gonna do part two. Because I didn't finish this, and then I feel like if I do the bridge, that we become, it's gonna be all out of order. So we gotta do it, in order. And I don't like the way this shirt is, the way the mic is so heavy on this shirt. But then I don't want it looking all weird either. You're driving, be safe. Don't be doing stupid shit now. But this is about the imprint that outlives us. And I talk about, last night I was talking about the impact that we leave and the essences that we leave behind. Every person that we come into contact with, there's an essence that's left behind. You can measure this stuff and you can, when people walk into rooms, you can feel it, you can understand it. A lot of people, there's certain people can really feel it and understand it more so than other people. But there's a shift when somebody walks in the room and you can feel their essence. You can kind of tell a lot about a person. It has nothing to do with judgmental shit. It's just, observation, simple observation. It ain't got to get into judgmental bullshit. It's just understanding that presence matters. When people walk in the room, it matters. Like, you can tell. Your essence affects everyone you encounter. Everyone. It doesn't matter. Good, bad, ugly, however you want to look at it. Anytime you come into contact with somebody else, like, there's an exchange of energy. There's an exchange of, a whole lot of information is being exchanged without a word ever being said. You don't choose this. It happens whether you're aware of it or not. And if you're aware of it, then you take better care of the energy that you have and the energy that you allow around you. Presence isn't passive. It has a force. Even when it's quiet, you can feel it. That's what I'm talking about. Like, there's just imprints. There's essences that people leave behind, pieces of each other that we leave behind. And, when people are about to make that transition up out of here and go to the other, wherever, you know what I'm saying? Like, they've left essence. They've left pieces of themselves, the consciousness, the teachings, the learning, all the stuff that they left behind. So when people go on to transition, there's, especially biological, like, they're a part of who you are. It's inescapable. But then you add the more spiritual, metaphysical type shit to it. And like this consciousness thing where the consciousness just goes on, you can think of them and they're right there. You can hear their voice in your head. You can recall things. Consciousness allows you to do that and stay tapped in even after this physical is gone. Every room you walk into changes because you walked into it. This is an inescapable truth, and it can't be escaped. And you can measure it. Like I said, when people walk into a room, you can measure that shit. There is a shift in energy. And some people's presence is so powerful, you really know they walked in the room. And then other people walk in the room and you're just like, man, like, there's just their continence, their energy level, everything, their presence. Awareness alerts you to this stuff. A piece of you lives within every person you have affected. You don't get to control which piece stays. You only get to choose how you give the pieces. And the older you get and the more you kind of understand this, you want to make sure you're giving out pieces of yourself that matter more so than just, fuckery or a bunch of unhealed trauma or the stuff that, that's not good for people. But it affects people. Every piece of you. There's just a piece of you. There's just a little piece of you. Sometimes it's a little bit. but we impact each other's lives. And some people go to the extreme to get their, develop themselves in such a way that they understand how important it is to be that bridge for other people to get to the other side. Because they know what it's like to be on the other side over here without the bridge. And then they figured it out, or somebody else became the bridge and allowed them to get to the other side. And now they know what it's like. So it's just like, it's the thing. You know what I mean? What's good, Maurice? It's the thing to do. It's the thing, that's where it all ends up. You don't get to control which pieces stays. You only get to choose how you give out the pieces. And in the beginning stages, we don't care too much about how we're giving pieces of ourselves to people, because we're not aware of like the collateral damage of some of the pieces that we're given does to other people. Everybody loves to portray like they're the superhero in their own lives and in the lives of others, but we're not in other people's lives. We're the villain in some people's lives. We are the person that caused the other person harm or pain or whatever. And it's just like people that understand that and only want to talk about, just where I am and this look at me and all that. Like, man, that's all good and everything. But like, show me what's up. How did you get there? How are you being productive in your life? Like in meaningful ways that matter, not on an expectational level. It's more of an energetic feel with me. You can just tell when people are about their shit. You can tell when people are full of shit. You can tell when people are trying to get their shit together. There's a difference. Influence doesn't ask permission. It just lingers. It doesn't. Influence does. You pop in people's lives, whether on here or in real life. And like influence, the influence we have, it stays behind sometimes a little longer than others. And then some of that shit stays behind and you want more of it. And it's just paying attention to the presence and how this stuff works. Someone is carrying a version of you right now that you'll never even see. You affected them in such a way, they went on to live their life, and the piece of you that you left with them, it'll be the only contact, but it stays with them. They still recall running into you, or something that you said, or something that you did. It matters. And like the older you get, like I said, you pay more attention to it. And in the pieces that you give of yourself are more, you're more aware of how you're doing it and why. No one truly dies. Their essence lives in the, whoa, what happened? No one truly dies. Their essence lives in the living. Jeez. Because the person that you affected, like let's say my mom has passed on, my dad's passed on, my grandma's passed on, my uncle's passed on, and all of them left behind their essence with me. Some more than others. Some changed the course of my life. My uncle taught me discipline and work ethic. Not only so much by talking about it, but more so by doing it and being it. And seeing the burden on a man's shoulders, taking care of a family, waking up and going and doing the thing, whether you wanted to or not. And just doing it. You know what I mean? Just day in, day out, good days, bad days, whatever. And it was just discipline and consistency on display. And that essence transferred to me and taught me work ethic in a way that you couldn't possibly know until you just see it in its rawest, purest form. That way it doesn't have to have anybody come and say, man, he's a hard worker. He's a this and he's a that, because like, fucking just take a look. The dude ran his own business for like 25 years, 30 years, carpet cleaning business, and like provided, did the thing, you know what I mean? Like, and did it solid. And not only took care of his immediate family, but he took care of me, which was an extra and didn't have to, So it's like when you see people take on that, and I end up with my wife, she came into the marriage with 3 people, 3 kids. And it wasn't like that hard of a deal to say, yeah, I can do this, because he did it. I saw him do it. You know, take care of other kids that didn't belong to him. Even though, like, with his previous marriage, it didn't go so great, and he doesn't have the relationship with his biological kid as he did with me. And so as his life unfolded over here, not so great, he got it together over here. And it sucks for the ones over here. There's no sugarcoating that shit. When he died and his kids got up there and talked about that shit and about how it was weird to hear all of us talk about their dad that they really didn't know, that was some real shit. But like, that essence got left with me. A different part of essence got left with them. That's why it's important to pay attention to how, you know, we're giving of ourselves, the pieces that we're giving of ourselves, because it's never really just about us. There's always other people that it affects. And really when it starts to affect negatively or in ways that just aren't productive in someone's life, it starts to affect a multitude quicker. Let's just say that, you know, bad news travels fast type shit. But then the ones that get it together and do the curse breaking type, you know, the pattern breaking and all that, it's a harder journey. It's a longer road. But to just sit back and give less shits and like the previous generations and whatever is different. So when you start paying attention to how you're really giving pieces of yourself, it's harder. Because it's like, it's not the same. You can do a lot of stuff to get people's attention, but doing things the right way, and it's not compared to anybody. It's just doing things the right way that you know of in your own life, what it's teaching you, what your own morality has taught you, what you have experienced. Have you been stolen? Has somebody stolen something from you? So it's like, you would never steal from somebody type shit. You know, it's like the lesson has been taught by life. And you're taking it and you're running with it. You can never replace. Oh yeah, this is the one I didn't get to last night either. I'll get to that one. The people that help create change within you are invaluable. There's no price on it. It's an energetic exchange. Like my uncle I was talking about, invaluable. The shit that he did for my life, and how, by just simply being himself. You know, he has no clue. He's gone on. We've had conversations and shit, but you can only have these kind of reflections after the fact, where you've realized the gravity of somebody's impact in your life. And that's why it's like they imprint on you. They leave these pieces in us. You can only do them. You can never replace. Let's see. Yeah, there is no monetary value to be found, you know, in friendship. There's nothing that you can put on that. You can never put a price on it. My house was broken into 5 times from 8th grade to my sophomore year of high school. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you would never do that to somebody because you know what it's like personally to have your shit taken and you worked for it, or your mom or whoever worked for it, and it's gone and you really ain't got much anyway. And so it's just like, the idea of me actually carrying that out, to doing that to somebody else, it's not even on the table. Because that was my experience. I'm just using the example. That's why I could never steal from someone, really, just because it's wrong to begin with, right? You have that aspect, right? And then when you have that personal experience, it's just like, whoa, I would never do that. I get it. Mom got held up at gunpoint too and had her car. That's what I'm saying. You ain't never pulling a gun on somebody and robbing somebody either, because you know what that's like. And so that's what I'm talking about. These people are leaving parts and pieces and essences of themselves, you know, and it's like PTSD and it's fucking anxiety and, you know, it causes people to doubt and not allow people to move fluidly in their life, because now they got to contend with pieces of somebody else that didn't care enough about themselves to worry about how, you know, they're affecting other people. And there's nobody, you know, in the beginning shit, whenever you're just going out of survival mode, and that's a different story. But when it's just you and you're contending with you, there's no excuse. And then I'm going to get to that later. That's one of the things I missed. Like, there is no excuse after that. Let me see. Yeah, there's no monetary. Oh, wait, man, I skipped a whole lot. The people that helped create change within you are invaluable. Invaluable means it can't be priced, only honored. The discomfort they caused was often the catalyst, not the obstacle. Because they change your life in ways, and it pushes you to places that you didn't want to go. That's where I was getting at with that. You know, it's like the saying of, was like, you know, where people, leaders, it's something to this effect, that leaders take you, you know, places that you never thought you would go. You know, that leaders are going to get you there because you don't think that you can, you don't see the possibility, you don't, and it's going to be discomfort when they call you out and have you, you know, doing things out of your norm to pull that greatness out of you, to pull the potential out of you. It's going to be discomfort, but it's the catalyst that actually helps you. Like I'm saying, looking back on it, I can see the impact that he had on my life in a real meaningful way. And it wasn't ever an obstacle, you know, whenever he was having me do certain things that I didn't want to do on the job and stuff like that, and no shortcuts and, you know, all the real meaningful shit in life that you can't put a price on. You know, honor and integrity and really caring about what you're doing, not just because of the sake of you're doing it, but you want to see the other person be satisfied as well. And not just to get the check and be moving on, but like genuinely because you give a fuck. And you can't put a price on that, man. When you come from all kinds of backgrounds of trauma and shit, and those aren't your default settings and you're in survival mode, you know, and some people are stealing because they're in survival mode, because like they don't know the other side of that. There's nobody teaching them these things of how to care and honor for yourself and have it for other people. I know it sounds like it's just, oh, it should just be simple. Not coming out of some of the households we come out of. It's not the same. There's no monetary value to be found in friendship. You can't invoice loyalty. You can't refund presence. You can't. Once you get it, you're stuck with it. Good, bad, ugly. You know, you don't get to invoice loyalty. It's there or it isn't. And you know when it is. You can never replace a powerhouse in your life. You can only do them justice while you're here. That's it. The people that have affected you the greatest in your life, in the awesomest ways, when they transition and go on from out of here, all you can do is honor that shit. Honor the pieces that they left you. But you can't replace that shit. People will go out and try to replace what they had, and you can't. You can't replace. Some people are just so fucking unique, man. Like my mentor and like dad, spiritual father, friend, like that's irreplaceable shit. And I could never try to replace that. The conversations we've had about life and struggling and how he brought me up out of my shit, and I was able to listen to, and he was able to talk to me about shit he's never told another human being, because he'll know I'll never utter that shit. That's loyalty. And there's some shit I would love to tell some people, you know, just because it, like, you feel like if you knew this part of it, then, but that's not how we roll, baby. You know, like what's said is said, and what was said is locked in that fucking room. And so he was able to share things that he's never told other people because he was in the pastor role and shit. And part of that shit is confessing, getting rid of some of this stuff that we're walking around with. And some of the shit people just can't handle. But he knows I could handle that shit because of the walks of life that I've been through, and in the prisons and the conversations I've had, and nothing scares me. I've heard it. I've seen it. I've seen and heard unimaginable fucking things. And so the stuff that he was able to tell me and free himself of, it's just like, yeah, for me, it was just another fucking walk in the park. But to somebody else, they would never be able to handle it. They would never be able to look at him the same. He would go from this person down here to you know what I mean? Over some judgmental bullshit. And it would just bypass all of the fucking greatness that the man is accomplishing. And people are so quick to do like one slip up, one this and that, and discount the whole fucking shebang, man. Because that's the way this whole shit is conditioned. That's the way it's kind of set up. How do I turn this AI summary shit off, man? That shit is so irritating. I'll be trying to turn that shit off. But you can't replace a powerhouse in your life. You can only do them justice while you're here. Replacement is a myth people tell themselves to avoid grief. And when this man passes on, there's no denial. You know, I understand the impact. You know, I tell the man and his wife all the time what they mean to me. Because, like, they literally changed the whole course of my life. And my kids and my wife. And which in turns help change other people's lives. Whenever I, like, put the stuff into practice and do the things that I'm supposed to do, taking care of the little things. He was a track coach. He always talked about the fundamentals and you know, you equate that with life and it starts to make a lot of sense when you start to not maintenance and start to do the things, the little things that lead to the greatness. It's all the training and all the little fucking preparation and all the stuff that when the time comes to fucking do the thing, you're ready to do it. And now you're a prepared person in a prepared place. And that was his fucking one of his favorite sayings, or maybe one of mine's. Because it just makes so much sense. And you take that math and you apply it to all these areas of your life. You want to be a prepared person in a prepared place, whether it's in a marriage, whether it's in a friendship, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's taking care of the bills, financially, all of it. You want to be prepared. And the life experience should teach you where you're not prepared at. And so the next time the fucking circle comes around, the pattern, oh, you're ready this time because you didn't ignore the fact that you saw what the awareness brought to your attention in this area of lack. And now you're starting to deal with it. And now it's not a thing anymore. And now you get to move on to the next thing. And now you get to be prepared, be a more prepared person in this place than you were before. And you don't use it as like fuel against yourself and kick your own ass. Oh, I failed. I did it. It's like, no, man, now you know exactly how to be more prepared. So you will be a prepared person in a prepared place. What's good? What's good? I haven't seen you in a minute. Like, no, like expectation. It's just, I'm just saying doing them justice means living in a way that honors what they gave you. When you lose a powerhouse in your life, that's all you can do. You know, you honor what they gave you. The pieces of themselves that they left behind, the kindness, the spontaneous stuff, the laughter they brought, all of the stuff, the pieces they leave behind you, you just honor it. The tribute isn't a eulogy. It's in how you show up after. That is the tribute. But people be falling all to pieces, and no joke, everybody has their grief in their process. But understanding that it's not meant to be like this thing. It's supposed to be a tribute, the way that you live and honor them. Because that's the pieces that are left. Otherwise, nobody gets to experience the awesomeness of that person that has passed. But they do through you. Hi there. Thank you so much for your wisdom. Oh, no problem, man. This one is you can never replace a powerhouse in your life. You can only do them justice while you're here. Replacement isn't a myth people tell themselves to avoid grief. Replacement is a myth that people tell themselves to avoid grief. And like my mentor is about to pass, right? Of over 20 years and just loyal and has been there and walked with me and taught me how to be the man that I am. A lot of it was with this, but a whole bunch more was the way he lived his life and is living his life. And it's a powerhouse and he's got cancer and it's affecting the liver and like it's getting close. And so I'm under no denial, no illusion. And so I'm preparing myself now, you know, knowing that I'm never going to be able to replace him. That's reality. Like there is nobody that's going to be able to fill those fucking shoes. I can assure you. All I can do is honor it in the way, you know, honor all the pieces that he left behind. And it's a lot. So, and it's not about expectation. you know, because there's some parts of it I don't like, but there's way more good than, you know. So you take that and you move it forward and prepare it. And then it helps, you're preparing yourself, you know, as you allow those pieces to be a tribute through you. As you do that, it starts to affect other people. And then it becomes actually them that's affecting the other people. It's you because you're actually following it out and living it out. But who started it all? How did you get that awareness? You know what I mean? Why are you doing the things that you're doing in their name, in a sense? With it, it's not even a thing like, oh, I'm doing it because of so-and-so. It's just a part of you. It's a part of who you are. So all it is just acknowledging it and then honoring it. And then that way, in that form of consciousness, he gets to live through me and live through everybody that I affect. And he was a track coach for over 30 years and a pastor for over 35 years. And the amount of people he's affected is immeasurable. So when you start looking at like this transitional stage that people go through from leaving this physical into this other, instead of looking and being all attached to like, oh my gosh, they're gone and this and that, but like they're not. He's a thought away. They'll be a thought away. Like anybody that's like I can think about them. I can bring the feeling back. All I got to do is hear a song too and remember the laugh or do this or whatever, or see her color or my mom's favorite color. Or you know what I mean? Like there's essences and pieces that people leave behind. And instead of memorializing it and doing all this stuff and rehashing and re-traumatizing, and this is just my own take, you know, with the Facebook memories and the memories rehashing and going like, it's just like people are re-traumatizing themselves over and over instead of tributing and doing the thing, like, you know what I mean? And moving on with their life. And I know everybody handles this stuff different. It's hard. But understand, like, it's inevitable. We're making this stuff so personal. Like, this is just our unique experience when somebody goes and passes on or transitions, and but like every person has to contend with this. And so it doesn't have to be so personal anymore. You know, right? Your words have helped in so many ways. I appreciate that, man. And that's like their essence living through me too. I take credit for developing myself and all that stuff, but I'm not blind to where a lot of the shit came from. My confidence, because I was very timid until I came across this man. And he changed the course of my whole life. So it's like, and he's a wisdom dude and I'm a wisdom guy. And it's just like, we just mesh on those levels. And, you know, when we know where our boundaries are with each other, we've always respected that. And it's just like, you do it because of the connection. I'm finding more and more people are really just longing for connection more than anything. It's not love. It's not people just want to be connected, man. They just want to know somebody cares. They just want to be held sometimes. They just want to, you know, go to a movie sometimes, or maybe just sit with somebody. It's just the connection. We're so starved for connection. Instead of just finding the connection and letting that be enough, without all these expectations of like, you have to be this certain way to be in my life. And I mean, the vibe is the vibe. It either is or it isn't, man. And we got to start going more off of our intuition and living out of our own energy and our own, what our own awareness is teaching us. And we'll make these connections a lot faster. And I'm going to make it to the end. The tribute isn't a eulogy. It's how we show up. The thread underneath all of this, your essence, their essence, all of it outlives the body. The only real failure is treating any of it as replaceable or pricing it like it's disposable. What's real never asks to be measured. It asks to be honored while it's still in front of you. Every person you've ever touched carries something of you forward. And every person who touched you deserves more than silence. Honor that weight while you still can. You know, like I tell this man how much he means to me all the time. Because it's just like, it's that important, man. And sometimes he needs it because, you know, the grind of helping other people so much and this and that, you just want to know people are calling and checking. And it would amaze me that hardly anybody calls and checks in on this man. You know, like really, truly, like Because part of it is like he's intimidating, you know, he's very matter of fact, and it's very intimidating at first, but he is the most genuine human being you'll meet. His intention is just, he wants the best for you. He wants to see it. It's like, even when he's playing around, he's dropping wisdom and knowledge and shit. Like, it gets to the point where it's just a state of being. It's not an act. It's who you truly are. You truly are just a person that enjoys laying down their life so other people can live. That's the best way I can describe that man. And the proof is there. All you got to do is look at it. And then all I can do is honor that shit by the way that I live my life. And you can only, it's not a comparison thing. You could only hope that you can have an impact on people's lives the way that he has. And I affect a lot of people's lives and have my whole life. And understand it. Like, I am a living, breathing, walking, talking, fucking life changer. Because I do that for myself. And by default, it happens for other people. But on the scale that he's done it on, it's just, man, it's so dope. When it gets to be where, like, your life is just it's its own testament. That's why I really don't enjoy talking about, like, my house and what I have and all the shit that I have. Because if people develop themselves, they can have anything they want. They can have more than I have. They can be satisfied with less if that's what it. But people are not satisfied with themselves, and I understand why in a lot of ways. So all I like to do is try to help people meet up with themselves. You know, tap into themselves. Not anything I'm trying to teach you or anything I'm trying to get you to go and do it my way. Just develop yourself. And you will affect lives in a major way. And if you do it like he did it his whole life, pretty much, I mean, man, it just becomes a state of being. And then it's just like, man, whether you're going through the shit, and I watched this man battle cancer for 40 years, like 20 years. 20 years I watched him battle cancer on and off. Never missed a beat. Not all sickly, never missed a beat, bro. Like, he is literally the epitome of, like, what the fuck? What's my excuse? It's just like, damn, bro. He went hard in the paint. And then, like, that transfers over. That's why I go so hard. Because it just starts to be, and his son is the same way, man. His son is more intimidating than he is in a lot of ways, because he don't fucking, like, you can tell. And I'm like family. Like, all that shit rubbed off on me. We ain't got time to be dealing with excuses and fucking mirror. Let's go to work, because that's where it starts. That's where it ends. But we want to do it all different ways first, and just bypass the common denominator that causes all the bullshit in the first place. After a certain point, I'm not talking about the shit that was caused that we had no control over. But that's my time, guys. I got to get back into work. At least I got through it this time. I got through part 2. Because I didn't even get through half. And then I got the other one I think I'm going to finish, because I didn't do the last of that either, of about the crying and how, like, you know, the weight of unspoken tears. I didn't finish that. And then I'm going to do the bridge that we become on the last live. Or either one. But you become a bridge to other people, for other people to get to the other side. And that's really what ignited my journey in a lot of ways. Was understanding that you need to be at crossroads in people's lives, or they're going to fail, you're going to fail in major ways that were unnecessary if we would have just took care of the business at hand. And then the connection happens, and then you You know, you go on to level up, they go on to level up, all that stuff. See you later. That's what's up, bro. I got you, man. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me again. That shit gets deep sometimes for me. There would have been a time I would have tried to fight that shit, close it all off. I can't help it, man. That's what it's about. It's being real, man. All this fake and phony shit is there's too much of it. People just got to get on here and fucking be real and talk about their life experience. Well, they don't have to, but we'll get a lot further when we start doing that shit, because then everybody ain't gonna feel so alone and trapped like, oh, I'm the only one. All right, guys. Until next time, have a good night. See you.